Hello, all. So I'm Christina, coach, combat vet, and community change agent. And today we're going to discuss an accidental experiment I conducted. So recently, I didn't post anything. I was traveling. I went to El Salvador for 10 days to go visit family. It was a wonderful trip, and I don't get to see them nearly enough. And during that time, I didn't want to be a burden on my family. And my brother and my sister-in-law are amazing cooks. So I was just like, you guys cook, whatever. I'm just grateful I don't have to cook. I will eat whatever you cook. So at this point in time, that included a lot of meat, cheese, and pasta. So that was a big shift for my system. No complaints. Again, they are fantastic cooks, like amazing. But the meals were very different from what I eat at home. And then after those 10 days, I got home and transitioned back to my normal diet. So that's what this video is about. So while I usually eat mostly vegan, I'm not super strict. Like once or twice a month, I'll have just a little bit of meat or cheese. I suppose you could consider my diet to be more akin to what they call blue zones. I eat mostly vegan. However, every once in a while, there is a small amount, just a small amount of meat and cheese, but very rare. It's very rare. So my body did seem to still have the ability to process meat and cheese for the most part. It wasn't a huge transition eating their food. I didn't suffer any immediate consequences. However, I did get an upset stomach like day 2, day 3, and by the end of day 3, I did notice my system was slowing down a little bit. And I started to feel just a little sluggish, but not bad. So transitioning back to meat and cheese diet, very standard American, except home cooked. It wasn't too bad. Just a little bit of a slowdown. And another thing that I noted was, according to my Fitbit, my resting heart rate did increase by 5 points, 5 beats per minute, pretty much the entire time I was there. So within a day or two, it had jumped to 79 and it stayed there the entire trip. Now that's not huge, 5 points, but that was something that within 2 days of getting home, about 3 days, 2 days, it dropped to 77. And then a day or two after that, it dropped back down to 74, which is about where I've been the last year, although I'm trying to get it a little bit lower. My transition back to a more vegan-based diet did not go so smoothly. So about 24 hours after getting back on my diet, I started having very sharp pains. I had a little too much information for most of y'all out here, but I had the vegan bloating gas that tends to come with transitioning to a high fiber diet. So while my body apparently transitioned to eating meat very quickly, it did struggle to get back to eating the higher fiber vegetables and beans. It was a very rough couple of days. But also, I was still running very slow, and by day 3, I realized that I was nearly stopped. Not completely, but nearly, and things just weren't moving along. So I ended up having to add some like Miralax type stuff to my diet for a couple of days to try to get everything back where it should be. I also gained about 5 pounds on that trip, although how much of that was water retention, stuff like that, because of the increase in sodium, I can't say. It hasn't really come back down yet, so I'm not entirely certain, and I'm not trying to lose that 5 pounds. If you watch one of my previous videos, you know that when I first got my cholesterol results and was transitioning to a vegetarian diet, a much stricter vegan diet, I lost some weight that was unintentional, and it was most likely actually muscle. While I was trying to figure out how to get enough protein how to get enough protein from vegan sources. So getting enough beans, enough nuts and seeds, learning how to cook tempeh. I already knew a couple of ways to cook tofu, but I'm struggling to increase it in my diet. So while I was doing all of that, I had this unintentional weight loss. So I'm not trying necessarily to lose this 5 pounds I gained, but I do want it to become muscle. I want to build back the muscle in my arms, especially where I lost that. So I am working on that. My heart rate has come back down. Still working on my digestive tract, but it seems to be improving. And my energy has picked back up. And my system is just reacclimating. So take this for what it's worth. It is an anecdote. It is not a study, but my experience has been that it is much easier to go back to the standard American diet, which could explain why so many people do fail to stay vegan, vegetarian, because it's easy. And you try it once, you try it twice, you go in. But getting back to eating a more vegan, vegetarian lifestyle is harder. It's harder on your system. The gut bacteria, the biome seems to take longer to adjust. It reacts more strongly. So I understand why so many people struggle and so many people give up. That said, I do want to encourage all of you, my audience. This channel is about living a better lived life. And as much as there are people out there who want to deny it, the studies have shown over and over and over and over and over and over again that if you live a predominantly plant-based diet, like whole plant-based, not vegan and vegetarian, plant-based, your health is just better. You live longer. You're less likely to have heart attacks. You're less likely to have cancer. So to my folks out there, if you want to change one thing in your life today, pick one meal, just one. Replace the meat with beans. Make sure the vegetables are real vegetables, not something processed. If you're going to make the transition to eating more beans, Beano, seriously, it's a wonderful thing. And it really does work. There was actually a study done, I think it was at like a Harvard lab, very interesting. If you cool the beans enough, you can actually like puree Beano into it and like avoid the whole mess to begin with. That's a little work for me. I'll just eat the Beano pills, especially when my body's transitioning back. Other than that, I hope you all are healthy. I hope you all have plans to get healthier. So don't forget to like and subscribe. And I wish you all a wonderful, wonderful day. I'm happy to be home, back in my own bed, and go forth and do great things.